Sai Ram, Sai Ram.
Saram.
Welcome, Krishna.
Thank you.
You are now to be part of the 95 stories for Swami's 95th birthday, and we are excited. Krishna is someone that I was incredibly impressed with the first time I met him. He was involved in a service project where we were providing eyeglasses to the homeless at multiple different shelters we ended up going to. And he's an ophthalmologist in Atlanta and heads different ophthalmological institutions and organizations, and does all kinds of good work. And definitely, as far as charity work is concerned, I was blown away with his attention to detail and the way he looked after the patients with so much compassion. He is also comes from a Sai family and has a nice background with that, and we may touch on that today. But regardless, we feel privileged to have you with us, and we are looking forward to hearing some of your Swami stories. So if you want, just go ahead and start anywhere with any story, maybe a little bit of background about your family or some incident that impacted you.
Saram, thank you for the introduction, Aaron. So what's interesting, I think, about my life is that my family has known Swami for many generations. In fact, in my mother's childhood, Swami used to come and visit her aunt's home in Hyderabad fairly often. And so my mother and her whole family were in close proximity to Swami while she was growing up. And so that's how it started. And what's interesting is that throughout my childhood, even though she had a very strong connection, I myself didn't know much about Swami until about 10th grade, in which my whole family kind of just had this spiritual awakening where all of us became aware of Swami, Swami's teachings, and it just kind of was it clicked on. I was a voracious reader of Swami's books, Swami's teachings. It was almost like the well was dry, and Swami was just filling it with information about his stories, about his life, leelas, and teachings, and I just absorbed all that information. And it was an amazing change in my personal life. In fact, prior to that, I was not vegetarian, and though our family was religious, not to this extent. And starting in 10th grade, everything changed. Every single weekend was focused around Swami. Every weekend was focused around service activities and bhajans and EHV, or Education and Human Values classes. In fact, in the summers, we used to visit India, especially throughout my college, and every summer I spent a month in Puttaparthi by myself, which was an amazing experience because every morning I used to get up, I used to wait for darshan, have amazing darshan, enjoy the bhajans, and perhaps volunteer in the general hospital. And it was an amazing experience for me to discover myself and to basically inculcate in myself the human values that Swami wants us to behave in our daily life. And those several years of being with Swami every summer really defined who I became. And I'm very grateful for that experience, because I think even till now, it makes me very level in my interaction with others. I feel a sense of purpose every day. I know that I'm behaving in a way that reflects Swami's teachings. I feel fulfilled because of that. I think there's one particular story that really sums it all up. We have different milestones in our life. For each one of us, it's at a different point in our life. And for me, it was kind of a given that I would go to medical school. I just enjoyed the field of medicine. I enjoyed working with individuals. I just enjoy the anatomy and the physiology and how all that came together. But ultimately, for me, there's a point in our life where we decide, okay, I'm going to be a doctor, but there are 20, 30, 40, 50 types of doctors. What type of medicine should I practice? And through a stroke of good luck, I had good mentors in the field of ophthalmology. And it's one of those things where you start to go down a road and you keep going down that road not knowing where it's going to end. So ultimately, I matched into a very good ophthalmology program in New York City at New York Eye and Ear. And as with anything in our life, when we achieve what we want, we don't know if that's what we should have had in the first place. And so, I went down that road. full of doubts. Should I be an ophthalmologist? Should it be in New York? There was doubts full of my mind. In fact, that morning we had packed up our truck, the U-Haul truck, drove across the bridge, got into New York City, into the mayhem that city is, full of traffic, driving a truck, and really full of anxiety and stress as to what am I doing in this city with my truck? Is this the right place for me? So we had parked our truck, we went upstairs to our apartment that was assigned to us, and my wife and my parents were with me. We were all there together, and my wife went into the kitchen. The first thing she did was she opened a drawer because we were starting to unpack, and the first thing that came out amazingly was a picture of Swami on a Nag Champa Agarbatti box. And so the first thing that happened after all this stress and anxiety moving to New York was Swami's confirmation that you can put all your doubts behind. I've chosen this profession for you. I've chosen this training program for you. This is the wife I've chosen for you. These are the parents I've chosen for you. It was really an unbelievable way for Swami to put all the pieces together in one piece and have an exclamation mark. And I think we all have these moments that really show us that we're on the right path. And I'm incredibly thankful for that experience. In fact, in my operating room book, I have a book where I keep all my notes to review my charts, and in the back of that book I have that picture of Swami still. And every Wednesday when I open that book, I'm unbelievably thankful that Swami chose this profession for me. And I think that's why, Brother Aaron here has really facilitated my ability to do service here in Atlanta. The thought entered my mind that we should not just work and do good at work, but also in the community without being paid. And through the medical projects that Brother Aaron and many of the individuals at the Sai Center has created, it created a very easy avenue to execute on my skill, because not only do you need skill, but you need the kind of foundation and the logistics to act on that skill. And I think that's what I'm so thankful for Brother Aaron and everybody in the Sai Center, to make it easy for me to practice my skill in a way that I can help others. And so I'm thankful for that. And I think each one of us, when we get a good thought, I think we have to put it on a list and get it done, because that's a thought that Swami put in our mind.
Jai Sairam, thank you so much for sharing today, brother. We greatly appreciate your time.
Sairam, thank you so much for helping me recount wonderful stories of the past and reconnecting to Swami. Thank you for giving me this experience.